People often ask, what could make cults more interesting than they already are? Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettle certainly had a good answer to that question, and they turned their idea into a reality through the Heaven's Gate cult. The cult made famous through their journey to board an extraterrestrial spacecraft in 1974. Evil space aliens, ancient astronauts, and flying saucers. I'm Jake Torielli, and this is Laughs from the Past.
Jake Torielli on the ones and twos.
On the prompter, man.
Producer Luke spelled Jake's last name wrong, so he's now Jake Torielli for the show. Welcome to Laughs from the Past. Season 7 is all about cults. This is episode 2 of Season 7. Jake, I appreciate the accent. I'm not sure if it's a Southern-based cult or not. Did you know that?
It is, Jim. I'm not some sort of asshole.
Okay, great. Good news, because I liked the accent. A touch of Meriwether Lewis for the people. A touch. I think you hit one word.
A hint. Just a splash.
Yeah, there was one word. What, spacecraft?
There was a fight or flight moment when extraterrestrial was coming up that I could have sent the whole thing awry, and I chose not to. So,
can you give us an extraterrestrial in Meriwether Lewis?
Extraterrestrial. There's almost too many R's.
That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff, Jake. So I've never heard of this cult. Shout out to producer Luke. He's writing these episodes and finding the stories and all that for us. I'd never heard of Heaven's Gate at all. Like zero. This will be the first episode, I think, because I used to write them, so I would know, obviously, when I was writing them. But 0.0 knowledge of these guys. I'm excited. And if you hear planes flying through, that's just because it's very hot in the office because they blast the heat in the Bronx, and if I close the windows, I will die.
Welcome to a day in my shoes, not knowing what's coming. And yeah, I'm a little worried for you when I see evil space aliens and spacecrafts, because I know that's not normally your boogie woogie, but yeah, I guess any cult leading up to anything crazy kind of excuses it a little bit.
I'm not a fan of like stories that take place in space as if it exists, like Star Wars, Star Trek, like all that stuff. But if you just tell me a group of loons, I'm interested in the group of loons. I'm not interested in what they're interested in. Does that make sense?
Sure. I wonder if this is a pretty good Parks and Rec episode, is when the guys take over the park and they talk about, I think it's Glorp taking over. That's some pretty good alien cult stuff there. I wonder if that from Parks and Rec is molded off of any of this at all.
Glorp?
I think their god has some sort of name by that. If you type in Parks and Rec cult episode, I enjoy it a lot. That's it's the end of the world party.
Zorpies.
Zorp, yes.
Who is the cult leader? What? Oh, it's the old man.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. They play flutes, and it's clearly, I guess it's more of a play off of Scientology, because it's I don't know, it starts out semi-normal and then it's like, oh, there's a fire-breathing dragon that'll melt your face off, but maybe there's some ties here.
Okay, well, you want to get into it? Here's the origin of Heaven's Gate cult. The son of a Presbyterian minister and former soldier Marshall Applewhite began his foray into biblical prophecy in the early 1970s. After being fired from the University of St. Thomas in Houston, Texas, over an alleged relationship with one of his male students, he met Bonnie Nettles, a 44-year-old married nurse with an interest in theosophy. Don't know if I said that right. And biblical prophecy. In March of 1972, that's when they met. That was the end of the sentence. I read it as if it was the start of another sentence. I read it wrong.
Perfect.
According to Applewhite's right. Applewhite's a cool name. Agree?
Yes, there was a college football quarterback, Jim, whose name was Major Applewhite. So that's gonna be tough to beat.
His first name was Major?
Applewhite. Yeah.
That's great. If you had to do a fruit and a color.
Any other Applewhite is going to be in a tough spot with me because I don't think you can one-up Major Applewhite.
If you had to choose a fruit and a color to be your last name, what would you do?
A fruit and a color to be my last name. God, that's tough. I wonder if we could find a normal one. Like what's like pear? No, that's not good. Pear purple. That's a hilarious name.
Peach pink. Jakey
Orange
Peach
orange.
Pink. No, that's bad.
Double orange? Come on.
Oh, what about cherry? Like cherry brown.
Cherry brown.
Jake Cherry Brown. I like cherry brown.
Not good enough for that. That's yeah.
Okay. All right, lemon green. That sounds like it could be one. Lost my spot.
Green. You have to be able to do something easy. Green pear, Jakey Green pear.
Yeah, there you go. Wow, that's great.
No problem.
Okay, mine would probably be something like watermelon robin's egg blue.
It's good.
People would like that. Well, according to Applewhite's writing, the two met in a hospital where she worked while we're gonna like base knowledge off of this dude's writing when he is a guy who believes in aliens and cults, I'm guessing.
Hell of a writer, though.
That's the tough part about being a historian. It's like, okay, when we read this guy's journal and diary and notes, like what level of truth do we have to apply to it? Because I'm guessing we're gonna find out he's a loon, you know?
Well, let's not make dangerous assumptions. And yeah, that's my girlfriend loves any Scientology doc that comes out. Just loves them. And for me, I just struggle so much for the fact that L. Ron Hubbard literally wrote fictional stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like how... Like that's a tough hump, people. Like you have to be so lost in searching for religion, which I guess I kind of get, but also the guy writes fictional stories.
Yeah, but the religious stuff is real, I guess.
It worked. We're all just searching for something.
According to Applewhite's writings, the two met in a hospital where she worked while he was visiting a sick friend there. It has been rumored that it was a psychiatric hospital, but Nettles was substituting for another nurse working with premature babies in a nursery. So much going on in that sentence. So it's rumored that he met her at a psych hospital, but Nettles wasn't a nurse at the psych hospital. She was just substituting. So she was a substitute nurse at a psych hospital working with premature babies in the nursery of the psych hospital. That's the rumor. I don't know if that matters, but it's very interesting.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter at all. That's my biggest concern.
That's a lot going on in one sentence, though. Applewhite later recalled that we're going off this guy's journal again, and we can't even figure out the nurse situation. Applewhite later recalled that he felt like he had known Nettles for a long time and concluded that they had met in a past life. She told him their meeting had been foretold to her by extraterrestrials, persuading him that he had a divine assignment. Oh, so she's the one that put the crazy in him. She was like, oh, I'm usually not working at this hospital with the premature babies. Usually I'm at a different hospital. But so glad I met you here today because extraterrestrials have given you a divine assignment. That's how it played out.
Yeah, I think it's a love story. I think we all do it. You come across someone on a day you that normally wouldn't have happened. This woman switched shifts. She had no right being at the hospital that day, and it was serendipity.
If someone used that line on you, would you you're not in a relationship, you go into the bar, girl comes up to you, says, "Oh my God, we were meant to meet tonight. Extraterrestrials sent you on this earth, and you have a divine assignment." You're bringing her home, right?
80/20. 80% of the time, I'm locked in and absolutely excited to have a blast. 20% of the time, I think I'm just saying, like, I'm tired. I don't think I can do this.
That sounds like a whole thing.
Yeah.
So no.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm highly interested, but I'm just having a couple daiquiris and I'm out of here.
Well, they kept a King James Bible with them and studied several passages from the New Testament, focusing on teachings about Christology, asceticism, and eschatology. Jake, what the fuck is that last one?
That's when you can only eat fish. Next.
Eschatology is a major branch of study within Christian theology dealing with the last things. It's the study of end things, where the end... Oh, I don't like that. Okay, never mind. I'm out. Applewhite had also read science fiction, including works by Robert A. Heinlein and Arthur C. Clarke. By June 19th, Nettles' beliefs had solidified into a basic outline. So that's what the mixture is all those things. His beliefs concluded that they had been chosen to fulfill biblical prophecies and that they had been given higher level minds than other people. They wrote a pamphlet that described Jesus' reincarnation as a Texan, a thinly veiled reference to Applewhite. Furthermore, they concluded that there were the two witnesses described in the book of Revelation, and occasionally visited churches or other spiritual groups to speak of their identities, often referring to themselves as the Two or the UFO 2. Oh, that's a cool name, the UFO 2. That's a cool band name.
Yeah, that's just a good nickname.
So, I mean, that's the origin of the UFO 2. I'm going to Google the UFO 2, see what comes up. Well, it comes up with Heaven's Gate, religious group. I want pictures of this dude. I like seeing pictures of the people we're talking about. So, Jake, he meets a loon at the psych ward, but don't worry, she was just a nurse caring to the babies at the psych ward. She wasn't a patient. That person tells him that he's got a divine assignment from aliens. He also reads a lot of different versions of like Christian Bibles and stuff, and also loves science fiction books. And he combines all of those to rewrite his own thing that basically says that he is Jesus reincarnate and that him and the woman are the UFO 2. And they've been transported to do whatever. Are you following?
No, but I do have some good math here, and I'm going to call this cult math because we're a pretty well-known math podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So think again what we've got here. We've got a guy who's a writer. We're mixing in some religion. I mean, this is your basic, formulation of cult type stuff. Honestly, if you're playing the numbers game, I mean, there's how many millions of people in the United States? A lot.
Yeah. Math pod, final answer, a lot of people.
You find 1 out of 1,000,000 people who are lost/loons, you can make a cult pretty easily. And I think that's what we're seeing here. We've started at the earliest foundation. And I think, are we currently having a loony off between the girl and the guy?
Yeah, I don't know. It's all wild. Do you want to listen to this guy's voice real quick for a little bit?
Like,
There's
not exactly, but I know you do. So
yeah, I think everyone needs to get a sense of who this guy really is. So I have a YouTube video. I don't know what it's about. I just want to hear the tone of which he speaks so that we can emulate it and listen to it when we read quotes moving forward. First, we have a YouTube ad.
We're going to talk to you about the most urgent thing that is on our mind, and what we suspect is the most urgent thing on the minds of those who will connect with us. We'll title this tape Planet Earth About to be Recycled.
That's a good on the spot title right there. Made a video without figuring out the title. That's some shit we do. This one's gonna be called Planet Earth About to be Recycled. Nailed it. Cool.
honestly, I think there's some pretty strong connections to him and Zorp from Parks and Rec, like
they look
like that. The character in Parks and Rec almost looked just like that dude.
Yeah, so this is the Zorpy dude. Well, anyway, back to the story of the UFO 2. They believed they would be killed and then restored to life, and in views of others, transported onto a spaceship. That's a hell of a belief. This event, which they referred to as the demonstration, I like simple, words like that. Like, they can just say that in casual conversation, like, wait till you see the demonstration. And then everyone's like, oh, cool. You got some brand new cool Tupperware you want to show us how strong it is? Like, you're going to cut my shoe with your knife and sell me some knives? Like, what are we demonstrating? No. We're going to get murdered, and then we're going to be sent to space by some aliens. That's the demonstration.
That's the best part for me. That's usually the confidence that leads into humor for me is like, oh, well, the demonstration is coming and you will be dead. It's like, oh, okay. Well, yeah. I will see you there. I will see you another time.
Oh, be on the lookout for this demonstration. They just kill themselves, and that's the end of it.
Done. Oh, but that's a classic cult plot twist at the end. By the way, before the ship gets here, we are going to have to kill ourselves.
You know what's cool, though? Like, they died knowing their truth. You know?
Kinda.
Like, their last seconds, they were like, I showed them. I'm showing them.
Or there could be a little bit of regret right before.
You know who I was, so I was in Savannah, and this is kind of the same thought process that I just had, is there was an ex-baseball player / preacher, Billy Sunday. You ever heard of Billy Sunday?
I know.
Bloody
Sunday
Sunday.
Billy, not Billy Sunday.
Okay, well, Billy Sunday was a huge preacher. He wanted prohibition. He thought all liquor should be gone away. He was like an Alex Jones of his time, like crazy guy, demonstration. Anyway, my point is, he died before prohibition got canceled. So he died thinking he won.
Yeah.
And won forever. Like, in his mind, U.S. is still... Liquor is still not part of the U.S., and it was all his doing. It's kind of interesting. So that's what the demonstration would do. If you were to do it, you'd be like, oh, cool, I showed them. But anyway, Jake, to their dismay, these ideas were poorly received by existing religious communities. Wonder why, you know?
Yeah.
But like you said, man, say you got a church, or like you go to the South, there's 1,000 people at Sunday church. You get one person at every church. You just need to hit up like 100 churches one summer. You got a cult.
I mean, oh God, yeah. My brain just went down a full scary business plan of like, why not? I mean, it ends up turning me into religion, but like, hey, get a couple local pretty girls and bring them to the church and be like, hey, we're starting a new religion. I bet you'd have fuckers sign up.
Yeah, that's how Hooters got invented.
Yeah, which to some people is their religion.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, Applewhite and Nettles resolved to contact extraterrestrials, and they sought like-minded followers. It's funny that they didn't even want followers at first. They were like, nah, this is going to happen. It's just the two of us. We're cool. And then they're like, all right, we got to get some more people that believe us.
Another Parks and Rec reference, Entertainment 720. We don't want you. We don't want you to sign up. And that's how you build interest.
Yeah. They published advertisements for meetings where they recruited disciples who they called the crew. Again, listen, if there's one thing I agree with Marshall Applewhite, he knows how to name things.
Didn't we say this with I think we ended the last episode with this, like, as long as you have good names for stuff in a cult, that's huge.
Yeah, calling it the crew? That's cool. Like, hey, where's the crew at?
Wasn't the last one the family? Like, this is cult 101.
Yeah,
people look to be accepted by people, and people are looking to see what it all means.
Give them a cool name. And the demonstration at the end? Awesome. Well, at the events, they purported to represent beings from another planet. The Next Level. Oh, that's the name of the planet, the Next Level, who sought participants for an experiment. They stated that those who agreed to take part in the experiment would be brought to a higher evolutionary level. In 1975, during a group meeting with 80 people in Joan Culpepper's Studio City home, they shared their simultaneous revelation that they had been told they were the two witnesses written into the Bible story of the end time. I don't know. All that sounds cool. The Next Level is cool.
It's a lot.
They're just telling people that they're in the Bible. Whatever. They lost me. I'm out of the cult. Later, in 1975, the crew assembled at a hotel in Waldport, Oregon. After selling all worldly possessions and saying farewell to loved ones, the group vanished from the hotel and from the public eye. That night on the CBS Evening News, Walter Cronkite reported that the group had disappeared. In one of the very first national reports on the developing religious group, a score of persons have disappeared. It's a mystery whether they've been taken on a so-called trip to eternity or simply been taken. In reality, Applewhite and Nettles had arranged for the group to go underground. From that point, Doe and T, as the two now called themselves. Okay, so they changed their names from Marshall Applewhite and whatever Nettles to Doe and T. Cool. Actually, that's not, Marshall Applewhite's a pretty great name, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've only given the one other better Applewhite name, but
Major Applewhite.
Yeah.
And Doe is spelled D-O, which is just do. So, like, come on now. That's their first big mistake.
Maybe you're messing it up. So I can't, normally I can see the words and help with your reading errors, but I can't because of the headphone situation today. But is it do and T and combined it's duty? It's their duty?
It says that D-O is pronounced D-O-E, which is doe, right?
Doe, a deer.
Yeah, Doe and T. Doe T. I don't know. Well, from that point, Doe and T led the nearly 100-member crew. That's how many members I said. You go to 100 churches, you get one from each church. They led the nearly 100-member crew across the country, sleeping in tents and sleeping bags and begging in the streets. Evading detection by the authorities and media enabled the group to focus on Doe and T's doctrine of helping members of the crew achieve a higher evolutionary level above human, to which they claimed to have already reached. All right. Wow. Jake. At one point in that paragraph, I was so impressed with Applegate and Nettles. They staged a vanishing, and they had Walter Cronkite reporting on it. That's awesome. Like, that is round of applause.
100 people vanished.
And the news was like, they vanished. Maybe they did go to a higher power. Maybe they didn't. Like, that's the best publicity you can get. I'm all for it. But then they change their names to Doe and T. That sucks. And then, like, they're just walking the streets homeless. Like, come on, go find an underground society like in the movie Us and, like, live down there for you. That's what I thought was happening. It's homeless people now?
Yeah, that was I'm glad you brought up this point, because that was my big thing, was that okay, so we just made 100 people homeless.
It's just, well, now they really depend on you because you just made them homeless. But, like, I was thinking they were going to have some badass underground shelter like mall set up. There'd be mole
I
people.
mean, I saw your brain light up when they said, I think the quote was, they made 100 people vanish, but what really happened is they went underground.
That's
And I
awesome.
I saw you were all in on that. Homeless, not as fun.
Walter Cronkite falling for it is great, man. It was like
I mean,
grade
it's probably
A.
good news media.
It's awesome.
You're at home in the 70s. If you're a non-hippie, you're kind of a working stiff. Like, Colts were good entertainment.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm interested to see where they went from here. Applewhite and Nettles, Doe and T, used a variety of aliases over the years, notably Bo and Peep. I like that. You know, they got their herd of followers, so they're like shepherding the herd. Not bad. Not really an alias, I don't think, but maybe. Yeah, I think counts. The group also had a variety of names prior to the adoption of the name Heaven's Gate. At the time Valet studied the group, it was known as Human Individual Metamorphosis, acronym HIM. Yeah, Heaven's Gate's much better than HIM.
Yeah. No, definitely a better sell. But I like metamorphosis. It's like an advanced word for what? Changing, evolving? Sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The group reinvented and renamed itself several times and had a variety of recruitment methods. Applewhite believed he was directly related to Jesus, meaning he was an evolutionary kingdom level above human. Don't we all, you know?
No.
Okay, we have a note from producer Luke here. He lists out all their beliefs, and he says there are a lot of hard to understand beliefs. Skip through this as you wish.
It's on you, Ace.
I'll start at the first. I'll try and speed read one, and we'll see where we land. Heaven's Gate members believed that planet Earth would be recycled before the year 2027. Hey, we're almost there. And the only chance for their consciousness to survive was to leave their human bodies at an appointed time. Initially, the group had been told that they would be transported with their bodies on board a spacecraft that would come to Earth and take the crew to heaven, referred to as the next level. But when Bonnie Lewis Nettles died of cancer in 1985, it confounded Applewhite's doctrine because Nettles was allegedly chosen by the next level to be a messenger on Earth, yet her body died instead of leaving physically to outer space. So the belief system was refined to include the leaving of consciousness from the body as equivalent to the leaving of the Earth and space. That's how things get done, Jake. You know, when we die, our bodies will be transported to space. And then one of the founding members dies. Bo or Peep, whatever her name is. And her body stays on Earth. And they have to rewrite and say, no, actually, you know what, though? I think maybe just our souls go up there. Now you're just Christians.
Every problem has a solution.
Yeah. While the group was against suicide, they defined suicide in their own context to mean to turn against the next level when it is being offered, and believed their human bodies were only vessels meant to help them on their journey. Doesn't all religions believe that? These sound like all religions.
And know what the other, and maybe if you're thinking about forming a cult, I think something you could spin off people. I think a lot of people don't enjoy their bodies. So if you work in like a little, your human body, you're going to be done with that soon.
That's just a cage, my friend.
You're going to be done with that bad boy pretty quickly.
So suicide for them wouldn't be to not allow their consciousness to leave their bodies to join the next level. Remaining alive instead of participating in the group suicide was considered suicide of their consciousness. In conversion, when referring to a person or a person's body, they routinely used the word vehicle. I like that. That's fine. So, like, to not join in the group suicide, which was basically getting yourselves to the next level and being like, nah, not interested in the next level, that was suicide.
Right.
I get it. Yeah, I don't want to read all of these.
Find one highlight.
Applewhite's writings, which combined aspects of millennialism, Gnosticism, and science fiction, suggest he believed himself to be Jesus' successor and the present representation. That's another cool term. I am the present representation. Oh, badass.
He's busy right now, but you got me.
Doe and T taught during the religious movement's early beginnings that Doe's bodily vehicle was inhabited by the same alien spirit which belonged to Jesus. A lot of these are repeating the same shit over and over again. Maybe this is a different one. Another New Age belief Applewhite and Nettles adopted was the ancient astronaut hypothesis. Interested or not interested?
Interested. I think this is one of the key cogs. This was what we were told in the intro paragraph.
The term ancient astronauts is used to refer to various forms of the concept that extraterrestrials visited Earth in the distant past. Applewhite and Nettles took their part of this concept and taught it as the belief that aliens planted the seeds of current humanity millions of years ago and have to come to reap the harvest of their work in the form of spiritually evolved individuals who will join the ranks of the flying saucer crews. Only a select few members of humanity will be chosen to advance to this transhuman state. The rest will be left to wallow in the spiritually poised atmosphere of the corrupt world. Only the individuals who chose to join Heaven's Gate follow that belief system and make the sacrifices required by membership would be allowed to. I just realized my windows are open and people are probably like, oh, there's a cult in that office now. We've got a cult preacher in that office.
Yeah. That's it's something to keep an eye out for.
I'm a bit yeah, well, like, I think I'm a cult leader now.
Yeah, I don't well, I don't love giving myself homework because homework will go down as one of my least favorite things in my existence. But I think our last episode of Laughs from the Past should be a slight twist where we each make our own cult and present it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all in the names. We know that. And it's just like confuse people.
Just some cult business models.
Here's my thing about Heaven's Gate. It sounds a lot like Christianity to me, except just take out aliens and different planet and switch those with like angels and heaven. And I think we're at the same place.
Close. We're close, but this one's real, not.
All right, here we have techniques to enter the next level. I'm interested in this. This is how they tried to get to the next level. According to Heaven's Gate, once the individual has perfected himself through the process, there were 4 methods to enter or graduate to the next level. 1, physical pickup onto a Tela spacecraft and transfer to a next level body aboard that craft. In this version, what Professor Zeller calls a UFO version of the Rapture, an alien spacecraft would descend to Earth, collect Applewhite, Nettles, and all their followers, and their human bodies would be transformed through biological and chemical process to perfected beings. This and other UFO-related beliefs held by the group have led observers to characterize the group as a type of UFO religion. I mean, that was what their main method was. But what happened was people started dying and their bodies stayed around, so they had to make new ones.
I think it'd be pretty fun to be Applewhite, and you could, like, I don't know, if someone's either down on themselves or, having a bad week or something like that, I think you just walk by him and you just drop like a very casual, like, man, kind of feeling something special today, and you just keep it moving. And they're like, what is today? Today the day the ship's gonna come down and take our bodies? And that's how you keep them going.
Today's the day. Just constantly feeling it.
No, but you can't do it constantly. Just like every, I don't know, once a month, you're just like, ooh, feeling something a little different today.
You got to take some weather condition and act like that's like, oh, maybe like tornado.
Hail.
Maybe you say a tornado lifted someone, and then like you just got to hope that it never actually hits you, but you're constantly searching to get into the middle of a. So that's my cult.
Hey, save it, man.
Okay, I'll save it.
Save tornado cult.
So the second entry level was natural death or accidental death or death from random violence. So anything that's not an alien spaceship sucking you up, that's the next step. And when that happens, the gradual soul leaves the body and goes to the next level, which is literally Christianity and a lot of other religions. Like if you just die, your body, your spirit goes to heaven and your body stays on earth. I mean, that's no different. And then the third way is outside persecution that leads to death. So after the deaths of the Branch Davidians in Waco, Texas, and the events involving Randy Weaver at Ruby Ridge, Applewhite was afraid the American government would murder the members of Heaven's Gate. So that was another way. I mean, that's the same as death from... Oh, so step 2 covered natural death, accidental death, or death from random violence. Step 3 covers being murdered by the government.
Yep.
And step 4 is a willful exit from the body in a dignified manner. So suicide. Oh, that happened, dude. A lot of people were killing themselves.
Yeah.
March 22nd and 23rd, 39 members graduated by a mass suicide.
It's a bad time.
Damn. But in those moments, they believed they were going to the next level.
Maybe.
Ah, damn. Damn. In October 1996, a member of T's clan began renting a large home, which they called the monastery. I mean, that's religious. We have that already.
Quite literally taken from religion.
This is some copycat bullshit. They just changed the word heaven to the next level, and they changed angels to spaceships.
Feels a little lazy. I will say this, and maybe we've missed it, but I feel like normally one of the hidden ingredients we talked about is that somehow sex gets involved in all of this, and like, oh, you can only have sex with the cult leader, and we haven't seen that yet. So I guess I'm okay with that part of the cult. But you're right. Everything seems like a little bit of a lazy copy at this point.
Yeah. So, what was it called? The monastery was a 9,200 square feet mansion located in Colona Norte, later changed to Peso Victoria, in a gated community of upscale homes of Rancho Santa Fe, California. They paid $7,000 a month in cash. In the same month, the group purchased alien abduction insurance that would cover up to 50 members and would pay out $1 million per person. The policy covered abduction, impregnation, or death by aliens. Some insurance company. Well, I'm so proud of that insurance company. So proud of that insurance. Say you're like 22 years old, you just graduated college, you get a job at dad's insurance company, trying to make dad proud. You got to go get some leads. You knock on a door of a fucking rich ass house. You find it's 100 people from one cult. Like, oh my God, you got to think on your feet. You got to pivot. Like, well, do you have alien in coverage? And they say, oh no, bring it home to dad. biggest sale of the year. I'm so proud of that kid.
What? I think I mean that was an insurance company, right? This was the group. So this is the cult that purchased the insurance company. This is how they're making money, right? I don't think this wasn't some kid that worked for Geico and says, "Hey, I'll give you alien insurance."
No, dude. It was. They didn't. They were paying a monthly fee. So the first company to offer UFO abduction insurance was through the St. Lawrence Agency in Altamont Springs, Florida. Yeah, taking advantage of the Floridas. Geico Insurance, but it doesn't sell alien insurance anymore, and the Daily Telegraph. One English company has sold over 30,000 policies, so it's still a thing to this day. Yeah, good for those people.
Free money.
Someone that's listening, go get an alien insurance and tell us what the process is like. On March 19th through 20th, 1997, Marshall Applewhite taped himself in Doe's final exit, speaking of mass suicide, and asserted it was the only way to evacuate this Earth. After asserting that a spacecraft was trailing Comet Hale-Bopp and that this event would present the closure to Heaven's Gate, Applewhite persuaded 38 followers in the monastery to prepare for ritual suicide so their souls could aboard the supposed craft. Applewhite believed that after their deaths, an unidentified flying object would take their souls to another level of existence above human, which he described as being both physical and spiritual. Their preparations included each member videotaping a farewell message for themselves. Ooh, I don't like that.
Oh, dark, sad.
Why do you make them all say a farewell message?
Guy's crazy, Jim.
Yeah, good answer, Jake. Good answer. To kill themselves, members took... Plane flying over me. The members took phenobarbital mixed with applesauce or pudding and washed it down with vodka. Additionally, they secured plastic bags around their head after ingesting the mix to induce asphyxiation. All 39 were dressed in identical black shirts and sweatpants, brand new black and white Nike Decades athletic shoes, and armband patches reading Heaven's Gate Away Team. Oh my God.
Unis.
Why were they the away team and not the home team?
Because this is their planet. The early astronauts planted our seeds, and now we're going to go back home, right?
Oh, it says in parentheses, one of many instances of the group's use of the Star Trek fictional universe's nomenclature.
Tough.
I don't know Star Trek. Each member had on their person a $5 bill and 3 quarters in their pockets. The $5 bill was to cover vagrancy fines while members were out on jobs. What?
It's to cover vacancy fines while they're out on jobs.
Vagrancy. The quarters were to make phone calls.
And the quarters were to make the phone calls they needed to make.
Once dead, a living member would arrange the body by removing the plastic bag from the person's head. Then they posed the body so that it lay neatly in their own bed with faces and torsos covered by a square purple cloth for privacy. The identical clothing was used as a uniform for the mass suicide to represent unity, whilst the Nike Decades were chosen as the group got a good deal on their shoes.
Tough look for Nike.
Man, this cult went from like just a copycat of Christianity with different terms. And then they like were the real deal quick. And imagine having to arrange all 39 corpses and put them into their own bed.
No.
The 39 people were 21 women and 18 men between the ages of 26 and 72. I was very nervous that we were going to get some really young ages. They are believed to have died in 3 groups over 3 successive days, while remaining participants cleaning up after each prior group's deaths. Oh, man, you watch people do it and you do it. They really had to believe. The suicides occurred in groups of 15, 15, and 9 between approximately March 22nd and 26th. Among the dead was Thomas Nichols, brother of actress Nichelle Nichols, who is best known for her role in Uhura in the original Star Trek television series. I don't know. You got anything so far? Just terrible?
It's a cult for sure.
Yeah, a cult for sure. Leader Applewhite was the 3rd to last member to die. Damn, he watched all these people do this and even lead by example? 2 people remained after him and were the only ones who would be found with bags over their heads and not having purple clothes over their top halves. Before the last of the suicides, similar sets of FedEx packages were sent to numerous Heaven Gates affiliated or former affiliates individuals, and at least one media outlet. The BBC department responsible for Louis Theroux's Weird Weekends, for which Heaven's Gate had earlier declined participation. Among those in the list of recipients was Rio D'Angelo. The package D'Angelo received on the evening of March 25th, as other packages sent had, contained 2 VHS videotapes, one with Doe's final exit and the other with the farewell messages of group followers. It also contained a letter stating that, among other things, we have exited our vehicles just as we entered them. Upon informing his boss of the contents of the packages, D'Angelo received a ride from him from Los Angeles to Heaven's Gate home in Rancho Santa Fe so he could verify the letter. D'Angelo found a back door purposely left unlocked to follow access and used a video camera to record what he had found. What the fuck?
Don't watch it.
I don't want to watch it, but I want to know if
it.
I don't want to watch it. I want to know if the video we watched was his goodbye message. I think it was.
Could have been.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, I feel like you kept looking for a little plot twist there, but no, I think a lot of cults end like this.
I don't know. I want, like, the Manson family, they killed other people. It's good in a way that they didn't harm people that weren't members of the cults, if we were looking for a silver lining.
Keep looking.
You don't like that one? Damn, man. Why that reporter walking in there with a video camera? Get the police, you fucking sicko.
Yeah, that's that kind of journalism, no thanks.
Oh yeah, here are their exit statements. Oh, okay. I'm not watching the video, Jake, but there's a thumbnail of a CNN, and you can just see there's bunk beds, and there's, like, you can just see the feet of someone. They're all covered up with fully covered with blankets. Talk about a scary scene walking into that. You can watch the exit videos on YouTube if you're a fucking sick fuck. Gross. I was making fun of them. You know what? They got the best of me because they were like, "Oh, we're just copycats. We're the real deal."
Yeah, that's speaking of silver linings. Yeah, you were kind of calling them out on their BS. This is lazy, blah blah blah. They showed you.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay, well, some cool names, I liked, here's the funniest part of this cult. They started by saying aliens were going to come take our bodies to heaven, and as soon as someone died naturally, they're like, hold up, but also, we can just send our spirits. And you know what? Who's us to say that they didn't? They're not in the next level.
They very well could be in the next level. But I'm all right.
Yeah. Man. Good joke from Parks and Rec when he's like, I'm reading it, looking at it. Like, why does the cult call itself It Works? Because if anyone wants to criticize it, they're attacking something that works.
Yeah.
It Works is terrible.
Genius.
Okay, Jake. I mean, do you have any closing thoughts on Heaven's Gate?
Hey, shout out to Heaven's Gate for being a very serious cult. Shout out to Major Applewhite, former Texas quarterback. I mean, I'll do a quick check to see if he's related, but I doubt it. But yeah, no, that's one of the dark cults that leads to death and bad times, we think.
Dude, you know what is if you man, there's memes of these bodies. Like I just googled Heaven's Gate images, and it's nothing terrible, but you do see some of the bodies with the purple blankets over them, and it is weird that like they're all wearing brand new Nikes, and there's a meme that says "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything." Nike, that's kind of funny.
It's tough. Yeah, I wonder that would be a good if we ever run into someone at Nike, it would be fun to talk to the person who was in charge of like Nike PR when that happened.
You quit on the spot. Right?
I think you get the creative juices flowing.
I think you just go to Adidas and they say, what makes you want to switch careers? And you're like, well, has 39 people ever committed suicide wearing your shoes? And then Adidas is like, not that we know. I'm like, okay, well, I'd rather work for you than Nike. Tough PR job over there.
I don't know. I think I disagree with you. I think you stick through it with Nike because if you go to Adidas and then another cult picks Adidas, you feel like it's following you. And then at that point you have to like join the cult. So yeah, I'm staying put.
Okay. What if you are the Nike wholesaler or discount seller that like sold this package to Nike?
I keep selling shoes because that's what I do.
It's weird. All right, I have an article here that's the Heaven's Gate Nikes and the sneakerheads who collect them. But I just want to know, the shoes worn by the cult were a part of a bland budget line produced by Nike called Decades. Marshall Applewhite purchased the sneakers primarily because he liked their look and was able to get a good deal on buying them in bulk. So after the tragic events unfolded, Nike did what you'd imagine any large corporation to do when confronted with such a brand-tarnishing PR event and discontinued the Decades line. To this day, its sole comment on the suicides was a 1997 statement to Adweek in which it referred to the deaths as a tragedy before adding that they had nothing to do with Nike. Sounds like a pretty easy PR move for them then.
Yeah, I think you try to get away from that as quickly as possible.
Do you think anyone that's out there collecting them is kind of fucked up?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's another way to spin it.
Like, what if you genuinely just think the shoe's cool?
I'm going to guess there was more than 39 pairs made, and you could find ones that weren't on a dead person. That's me.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that anyone's buying the dead people shoes.
No, I don't know about that.
Someone from forensics would have had to, like, sell them. This guy says he bought him for $55 on eBay. Oh, and he says that he thinks about the cult every time he pulls them out of the closet. Well, what the fuck, dude? That's weird.
Maybe that's how he brings his A game to the court. Like, that's his motivation.
He's like, yeah, I wear them a couple times a year, and every time I pull them out, I think about the cult. That's, for me, that would be enough to make me stop wearing the Nikes. But it's not for him, and I think that makes him weird. And I stand by it.
Yeah. No, I think most are with you and not cult shoe wearing guy.
All right. Well, that's the end of this episode of Laughs from the Past, Season 7, all about cults, which is proving to be a little tough to do because shit gets heavy, but we're doing it. Would you rather be a member of Heaven's Gate or the Masons family? And that's how we'll end it. Manson family.
Yeah, I think the Manson family, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Manson families didn't kill anyone and didn't die. There's like 5 guys. So, yeah.
I mean, the Manson family had just a lot of, like, let's be hippies and keep it moving. This was death.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, only 39 members killed themselves. So, like, a lot of people bounced.
Wasn't that a follow-up killing? Wasn't there a killing before that?
Of this Heaven's Gate, only 39 people were part of the mass suicide.
Right. Wasn't there one before the mass one? Like, wasn't there a 32 spot and then a 39 spot?
No, it was just all on those days. It was all on 39 members, yeah.
Okay.
But they had more than 39 members, so a lot of them were like, oh, we were into this a little bit, but we're not into that. Maybe they didn't want free Nikes. Wow. One member was so against Nike and the child labor that they're like, I can't go to the next level. I'm against it. And they just bounced. Child labor saved that person's life.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting rumors at least.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.